enough time has passed. Let's talk about Netflix's latest rated R suspense thriller, It's What's Inside. Now, picture this. You get an opportunity to swap bodies with a billionaire, and you get to live like this billionaire, as this billionaire really, for a month. Meanwhile, the billionaire is living like you. But as you're living this lifestyle that you think you've always dreamed of, the billionaire has a lot of enemies, is not a good person, but the pro is that you have access and money. Are you willing to take that risk just for the satisfaction of being able to have access and money and wealth for a month? That is the concept I would have preferred than this. This film follows a group of college friends who reunite for a wedding. One of them is getting married, and they stay in this mansion the night before. And they play a game. They all agree to play a game. This game is like virtual reality, the Cinderella effect. They wear these electroprodes on their temples, and they inhabit the personality of one of the other members of this group for an extended period of time. Once they remove the probes, then they inhabit themselves again. They go for one round, and then they go another round, but this time it gets more dangerous because they start living out these fantasies that they had in college. Well, two of the people have an unfortunate fatal accident, which means that the other people that were inhabiting their lives are stuck now because they can't transfer their lives again. So, and the danger is being stuck in these lives they don't want. And then it's unnumbered. So, how do they get their lives back? That is really the dilemma and the stakes presented in this scenario. I think this would have been better as a series, and I think it would have been better in concept if we knew the people, if there was more time and equity spent on character development to get to know these characters, because I found myself drifting too much because I wasn't familiar with them enough to care. I think that's a problem with it, that we jump right into the story without caring who the protagonist, the villain, the antagonist is. I feel like in execution, this wasn't mastered. Here's where it goes wrong for me. This was written, directed, and unfortunately edited by Greg Jardin. He gets his hands on some editing tools. It just ruins a lot of the style for me because he, I think, picked style over substance and character development. So most of these actors I wasn't familiar with. I was familiar with Devon Terrell. He played Obama in Barry, and Brittany O'Grady, who played Simone in Stars, a TV show that came after Empire on Fox. I recognize the other faces, but don't know them offhand. Being unfamiliar with the actors behind the characters got confusing following along the game because they're playing so many other characters. Without that and no character development, it was a little challenging to follow along. And because the director chooses style over substance, the sound mixing is off. And when the sound mixing is off, some of the dialogue is inaudible. I had to put on the closed caption because a lot of it is inaudible or I couldn't detect what they were saying. And some is purposefully chatter. But there is meaningful dialogue that is inaudible, which hurts following along with the story. So that was bad. There's no real substantive character development. So I found myself not really caring and losing interest and drifting at times because I don't know these people. Their characters are so underdeveloped. The director gets so fancy with the transitions and the aspect ratio and the overlays that it became so distracting and annoying, really. And the music is so overpowering, the dialogue. This is his feature film directorial debut, and I feel like he wanted to get fancy. This was like a sizzle really, so that he could show what he could do. And I think he lost himself in the editing bay and not in presenting the viewer with the substantive story, because the concept is so good. It abandons some of the good plot points for these fancy schmancy editing, stylistic camera shots. I think it would make a good series, a mini series, and maybe he should consider tapping into the story more. Listen, it's on Netflix. Very accessible. It's getting a lot of hype, but I want it to be real. It's not all that. A lot of what happens is in the trailer. They did not leave anything to the imagination. You see the trailer, you pretty much saw the movie. There are some shocking moments that work, but it became so tedious after a while. At any rate, It's What's Inside is currently streaming on Netflix.